The ship has sailed almost, and I don't even understand how to use it that well.
So I loved you on Once Upon a Time. This is definitely a different role.
Yes.
What was the biggest challenge of taking on this character?
The biggest challenge. You know, every day there's a different challenge that you don't even realize is going to be a challenge. I did have to lay on the subway tracks of New York City in that first episode, which was kind of gross and challenging, and we had to take like an 8-hour MTA course. So that was probably the most involved challenge.
Things you never thought you'd have to do.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
You're like, now I'm certified. I know what happens if you fall on a train.
Yes.
So you've played so many types of characters in your career. How is this one different from what you've done before, or is it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I've never been a therapist, before, and so it's interesting sort of seeing what that's about. And usually these guys are more messed up than their patients, or their clients, and that's the case with this. I don't remember playing a character where there were so many different sort of layers behind that that just learn throughout the series, and oh wow, he's doing that, he's involved with that.
Do you get to make up some of the backstory, or do we see that backstory?
Well, I'm talking about more like plot point stuff, so I didn't make much up, but there was a lot in the book that wasn't in the script, and so I read the book first, and I said, hey, what about this? And they said, that's great, so we put that in.
I've seen the first 2 episodes so far, and a lot of the show really does rely on not only your subtle like smirks and smiles, but your voiceovers.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have to get a certain tone with that. So how do you prepare for doing voiceover work like that and those subtle little things?
I don't know. It was a learning process for me, and I think I'm still learning about it. Like the second season, what are we gonna do? Because by the way, once you reach the end of the first season, I mean, you can't go back. There's no turning back.
Right.
Joe's a maniac, so I just tried. I just kept trying. I just kept trusting the women around because, frankly, I was so uncertain about Joe needing to be out there for people to consume that I really had to trust the women around me. Sarah, in particular. Elizabeth, my co-star, along the way, she was very helpful in that. Yeah.
There's so many books out there. What was it about this one that you were like, let's adapt this, let's turn it into a TV show?
Reading Caroline's book is like binging a great TV show. You kind of can't put it down. You want to call all your friends and talk about it. You want to hash it out. You want the next book immediately. So you look for something that captivates you and then hope you can translate it to TV.
The way we're all following each other and being followed, that was kind of percolating in me for a long time of thinking about that and wanting to just have this voice in my head that was a fun place to escape and wondering if I would know it if I met someone like Joe who reads all the books I love, who's so brooding and smart seeming, and it's like the more we present ourselves online, we wonder who's really underneath.
Because I think we all do a little bit of stalking when you meet someone, not to the extent that Joe does.
Right, yes.
But we're all like,
He's
okay,
all of us on
this
crack.
person, what do they like? Yeah.
Yes.
What's it like to see your show now brought to life with these actors and these characters?
It's a miracle because of the writers and the actors. Everyone is so amazing and so passionate and so into it and has been so obsessive about it from day one.
Something that maybe you wanted to bring to the show but you couldn't, and then something you were happy you got to bring to the show from the books.
I mean, I feel like we could have gone on for 3 or 4 more episodes. We could have delved even more deeply into some of the characters that you'll meet a bit along the way. But I was really gratified that we got to bring Joe's inner voice to life in the way that we did. That was the most important thing to us, was to kind of hew to the spirit of the book and give you that same kind of delicious, creepy feeling. And hopefully that's what we were going to deliver.
Joe has neighbors, which is one of those things that didn't occur to me when I was writing the book, but I love the storylines with the neighbors, and I wrote an episode that involves them heavily. So that was really exciting for me to be a part of that and to see him interact with new people.
See a different side of him, right? More dimension to him.
Yes.
And is it fun getting to write on the show as well?
Oh, so much fun to walk into that writer's room, and it's like all these people that have picked your brain and your work apart, and then you get to play with them.
You're kind of like getting to do like another version of your own story.
Exactly.
Does doing a show like this make you look at how you've done your own social media now and think a little bit like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing something? Or...
You would think so, but if anything, it makes me look at people. It makes me look at the way people use social media. I don't know if social media is necessarily like, it's just the symptom, but it's like, what is the cause? It's the person behind social media stalking you and creating ideas about you in their mind, right?
No, because I don't have a great relationship. I'm not really on it that much as the average person, which is a blessing. I mean, honestly, thank God. Because I know that it's hard to get off, and I think it's because I've been in the public eye. And I chose not to get it when it was becoming big. So I really only got it about 4 years ago.
Kind of learn to balance it and not rely on it.
I didn't even learn to balance it. I think I just was like, well, it's like the ship has sailed almost, and I don't even understand how to use it that well.
I've been pretty good the last couple of years because I've seen how ridiculous it's gotten. You would never say where you were or what you were doing, or, now people go, here I am, I'm at this restaurant, my dessert's coming in 20 minutes, come kill me. It's scary, right? And people need to be a little more savvy about it. I'm deleting all my accounts right after
this. It made me feel like I should. Actually.
Right? But you got to be careful. Because it's a desperate time right now. People are crazy, so.
And books are really important to Joe, so if you could only take one book to a deserted island, what book would you drink?
Ooh. It would almost certainly be, well, no, I know it would be something by Baha'u'llah, so it would probably be Prayers and Meditations.
Thank you for making me want to go erase all my social media after this too, though.
I mean, you're not the only one.
That and buy the girl some blinds.
There is that, but don't be too hard on her for that. I did not password protect my phone until I started working on this show. All of us are a little cavalier with our privacy.
Kind of educational in that way, is that everybody's not going to be like, wait, do I have this on my phone? Do I have this here?
It's worth getting educated about. It's pretty scary if you look. It does not take Mr. Robot. It really doesn't. Anyone has access to your information these days.
Like, what advice do you have for people that are kind of stuck in the friend zone? Because there's that point where he thinks he's in the friend zone.
I would say, like, honor the zone that you're in. If that is the case, then maybe that person is not for you.
Is there anything throughout the journey of season 1 with Joe that you were kind of surprised to learn about him as it goes on?
Yes, actually. Whatever I did learn about his humanity, I think it was his curiosity. His deep longing for like a meaningful relationship that I actually believe comes from a good place, because we all start out as innocent children, right? But then somewhere along the way he received a miseducation and continued on an erroneous path. But really connecting with his curiosity as he sees it to be a positive thing, I necessarily had to somehow kind of agree, Acting's a weird thing.
What do you want people to take away from the show? What do you hope they get from season 1?
Well, I hope that they enjoy it. I hope that they watch it above all else. But I think my secret hope is that next time you go see a great romantic comedy, you'll enjoy it, but you'll also be aware that you're rooting for some weird, creepy stuff in those movies. That's maybe not so healthy in real life.
Oh my gosh. To see the journey of Joe and Beck, which is really the heart of the story, and it's so close to what they've read, and they're going to experience all these feelings again, and new feelings, because there are moments that are going to be very surprising.
And why is it, do you think, that as a viewer you kind of do root for these two when you kind of are like, should I be rooting for them?
Because they do nice things, and there's this voice in your head, the part of us that wants the couple to get together. We just think, oh, but maybe love would save everything. We hear that every day, that like love is everything, love is love, but is it?
Well, that is the question. That I think that's something that deserves conversation. Like, what is it inside of us as people that wants something that broken to survive and to thrive? So I hope that it starts that conversation, and that it reminds us that that is not love, and that like we women gotta stick together and take care of each other.